Hi, my name is Robert Baylor, and in the next 7.5 minutes, I'm going to share with you how losing my hearing almost got my father killed, even though he was standing no more than 5 feet away from me, screaming and begging for help, and how this terrible hunting accident led me to uncover a natural formula used for centuries by the Navajo people that helped me restore my hearing in just a few weeks without any drugs, life-threatening surgery, or expensive devices. And that's not all. I'll show you how even though this method has been known for centuries by people that have only recently included modern medicine into their healing practices, there is actual scientific evidence found in a recent groundbreaking research published by a team of Harvard scientists in the Natural Communications Journal, proving this formula is guaranteed to work for anyone, no matter if your hearing loss was caused by loud noises, ear infections, accidents, or simply because of aging. Because as you'll soon see, the real reason why you haven't been able to restore your hearing is directly linked to an insidious process happening inside your brain right now. Once you understand how this process works, you'll be able to restore it, repair the damage it has done to your auditory system, and regain your hearing, without having to go through dangerous surgery or take expensive drugs. In fact, this formula is 100% natural, and it's been proven to work for anyone, no matter how advanced your hearing loss is. No matter if you're 18 or 80 years old, or if you've been suffering from this debilitating disease for decades. I understand if you're skeptical right now. I don't expect you to believe me just yet. But if you want a safe and natural way to restore your hearing, and if you're sick and tired of all the lies the multi-billion-dollar hearing moguls have fed to you all these years, then continue watching this video until the end, before it's too late. Because for the past couple months, I've been getting threatening emails, midnight calls, and now a gang of lawyers called me to kindly let me know I'll get sued if I don't take this video down. This is the third time I'm uploading the same presentation. It looks like this natural hearing loss protocol is starting to cut into their profits fast, so now they're going out of their way to keep you from seeing this. So I urge you to watch this video now, while it's still up, because by tomorrow, when you come back, I may be forced to take it down forever. 68,382 men and women, and counting, from all over the world have already followed this method and improved their hearing naturally in a few weeks. People like Mike F. from Oswego, New York says, "No surprise they're out to get you. I was skeptical at first, but after looking over the research, I decided to try your formula. Now I'm off that annoying hearing aid and my life is back to normal. Finally." Or Jane R. from Texas says, "I've been waiting for something like this for almost all my life. This formula is a game changer. Thank you for sharing it. My hearing is better than it ever was before." And here's one from Craig G. from Minnesota. He says, "I was a bit skeptical about this method at first because I'd never heard about it before. But I am so glad that I decided to give it a try. I can finally have a conversation without asking people to repeat themselves. I got my life back. This is why I unveiled this amazing natural formula, to help people get their hearing back fast and naturally without going through painful procedures or spending their life savings on life-threatening surgeries. Now, if you've already tried to restore your hearing, you've probably been told the same shameless lies I've heard from my doctor. First, that there is no way you can get your hearing back without surgery. More precisely, a $50,000 cochlear implant, which means they replace the part in your ear responsible for your hearing loss with a new one. They want you to think that your ear is beyond repair, and you'll need a brand new one if you ever want to hear again, even if you need to sell your house to just hope this surgery doesn't cripple you for life. And if you aren't rich enough, they try to sell you the second less expensive package. When I went to my first doctor appointment, he told me I'd have to wear a $4,000 hearing aid for the rest of my life. I would be dependent on it every minute of every hour. And I was explained that's normal for my condition. And I believed him. I bought one and wore it for a while, even though it was so embarrassing and irritating that I just wanted to throw it against the wall. I was ashamed, embarrassed, and didn't tell my family about how bad my hearing had gotten. And I refused to wear that annoying hearing aid in front of anyone. This forced me to make supernatural efforts to hear anything people said, so I tried to stay indoors as much as I could and not talk to anyone. That gave me enough time to look for alternative solutions that might help me get back my hearing, or at least improve it so I could live a normal life. I tried everything I read about: Chinese herbs, acupuncture, pills, everything on the list. I was so desperate to find something, anything that worked, that I started tricking myself into believing I was making progress. I wish I'd known about this natural formula back then. I wouldn't have had to go through so much suffering and shame. But in reality, my hearing was getting worse by the day, and I had no clue about it. I lived my everyday life trying to get by unnoticed, and I didn't even realize how bad my problem had become until the day when a cougar attacked my father 5 feet away from me, and I couldn't even hear it happening. We were out hunting, something we've been doing together ever since I was a kid. So imagine the horror on my face when I saw him lying on the ground 5 feet away from me, with this vicious animal crushing his bones under its weight. My heart pumped out of my chest as I ran towards him just as he shot the cougar and collapsed. I grabbed my dad and rushed to the hospital. The doctors asked me over and over again what happened, but the truth was I had no idea. I was facing the other way and I couldn't hear a thing. I was looking at him lying unconscious on the hospital bed, and I was so full of remorse I couldn't think of anything but the enormous sacrifices he made for me and my mom. My father was born and raised in one of the Navajo communities in Arizona. As you may already know, the Navajos rely on old medical practices to treat their people, and one of the most important skills for their communities is medical knowledge. Doctors are highly educated and respected by the entire community, and they are the only ones who know the secrets to treating hundreds of diseases and ailments naturally. My grandfather was the most trusted doctor in his community. He taught my dad everything he knew, passed all his secrets on to him, so my father could continue saving lives when he'd be gone. My dad made huge sacrifices so I could have everything I needed, and there I was, in that tiny hospital room, holding his hand and praying that he'd open his eyes again. After 12 long hours, he woke up, looked around, and frowned, like he was trying to remember something. I jumped up from my chair and took his hand. "Don't worry, I'm here with you, Dad," I said to my father. But he just looked at me and said, "I called for you, Robert. Where were you?" In that moment, tears started flowing on my cheeks, and all I could say was, "I'm sorry, Dad. I couldn't hear you." He tried to tell me what happened, but he couldn't remember for how long or how he fought the animal. He did remember screaming my name over and over again, and I wasn't there to help him. Thank God my father is the strong, ambitious man that he is, and with his last bit of his strength, he reached for his gun and shot the cougar dead. The blast of his gun, a noise that would normally wake up an entire neighborhood, seemed like a balloon popping to me. Looking at my father and seeing what I've done to him, I wanted to bury my head in the sand in shame. How can you tell your own father that he almost died because you were too proud and too ashamed to admit you're going deaf? But my ignorance had cost me more than I was willing to sacrifice. So I decided to tell my parents the truth about the accident, about my hearing loss, everything. I felt so guilty, I couldn't even look into their eyes when I unraveled the whole story. How I discovered my problem, how the doctors told me I would lose my hearing if I didn't get surgery, how I tried every alternative solution but nothing worked, and finally, how ashamed I was to tell anyone I was losing my hearing at 43. While I was talking, my dad stared at me with a look on his face that I couldn't read. I stopped in the middle of the phrase and just went ahead and asked him, "Why are you looking at me like that?" "Don't worry, son. I'm here for you. I can help you out," he said. I was very moved by my dad's understanding and support, especially since my hearing problem was the reason why he ended up in hospital in the first place. I thanked him and promised to both my parents I would do anything possible to solve my hearing problem. But my dad interrupted me with a shake of the head. No, you will do no such thing. I will help you improve your hearing in no time. I could have helped you from the beginning if you had only told me about it. You shouldn't have gone to those doctors. You should have come to me," he said. Honestly, at this point, I was convinced that my dad suffered a serious hit to the head and was losing it. He was so serious talking all that nonsense, like he actually believed it. I looked at Mom and suggested we should call the doctor to check him up again, just in case he missed something. But that's when I saw her face light up, like she had a revelation. Then she said, "Oh yeah, that thing you have from your father. I'll go look for it right away." I had no clue what was going on. I didn't know whether Mom was actually going to look for something or she was going to alert the doctor. But the minute she walked out the door, my dad started telling me about this amazing formula that can help people with their hearing loss. Whether it's caused by old age, loud noises, accidents, or ear infection, without any other intervention. No hearing aids, no pills, no surgery, no nothing. "We've had this formula for generations, Robert," my dad said to me. "We were forced to. Our ancestors had to hunt in order to feed their families. So they had to keep their eyes and ears crystal sharp, he added. This will help you restore your hearing, just like it did for everyone else in our family, my dad replied. To me, it sounded just like something a salesman would say on TV. But, on the other hand, my father was far, far from being that sort of salesman. After all, he was born and raised in the Navajo community, descendant from a long line of respected doctors who have passed their secrets from generation to generation. And what's truly amazing is that their remedies are still in use today with the same extraordinary effects. Before leaving his community, my father was getting ready to become a Navajo doctor as well, so he was well trained in traditional medicine. His father even made him a thick, leather-bound compendium with all the Navajo remedies, down to the tiniest detail. It was like a cookbook for medical purposes, and it was a secret that he swore to keep to himself for as long as he lived. When my mom handed me the old, dusty book, I looked at her in complete disbelief. There it was, in black and white. The Navajo secret formula was in fact just a list of ingredients that I was supposed to consume for a few weeks, together with a set of specific instructions. If that's all it would take to get my hearing back, I should be better already. I just couldn't get how a few ingredients mixed together could improve my hearing. But I couldn't afford to lose any more time. The reality was that my hearing got weaker by the day, and right now I needed a real solution fast, or I'd end up deaf. It was the first time my parents saw me on the verge of a breakdown. I didn't want them to see me this way, so I turned around to walk out the door. That's when my dad made one last move. Look, just take this recipe. I'll tell you where to go look up the ingredients written here and see for yourself what this recipe can do. Your doctor has been lying to you, and this is the evidence, my father said to me confidently. Going through the list again, I realized that the best I could say was that I barely consumed one or two of those ingredients on a daily basis, and I most definitely didn't do it the way it was written here. So I went home and decided to give it a try, without setting any expectations for myself. Nothing happened in the first few days, and I'll admit, I wanted to give up. But then something magical happened. One morning I could hear the TV from the kitchen, something I couldn't do for so long that I found it strange at first. Then one day I left to work without taking my hearing aid. I thought I'd have to avoid my colleagues all day long so I don't have to say to them, "I'm sorry, what?" over and over again. So imagine my surprise when I realized I could understand what they were saying, and even eavesdropped on a conversation just to see if I could hear everything. I was so excited with the results, I couldn't wait to get my hearing back completely. My colleagues kept asking me when I got my surgery done, or what type of hearing aid I'm using now. And whenever I told them I used a Navajo formula to get my hearing back, they'd laugh, or just walk away like I was insane. But my test results were as clear as daylight. My hearing had improved, and there was no trace that I ever had a problem with it. I took those tests over and over again, as my doctor stared at them in awe and ordered a new set. He couldn't understand how that could possibly happen. And the truth was, neither could I. So I decided to do a little research and see what makes this formula so amazing that it could improve my hearing in just weeks. There had to be a medical reason behind this, and I was set on discovering it. When I first went to the doctor, he showed me a board with detailed drawings and diagrams on the causes of hearing loss. This may sound familiar to you. Hearing loss happens when a crucial type of cells in your ear called hair cells become weak and eventually die. The weaker these cells get, the more they die and the less you hear. The problem was that scientists could not find a way to regrow or regenerate these hair cells. Until now. A medical discovery that has shaken the entire hearing industry from the ground up, and as you can imagine, made some big pharma fat cats very unhappy. To be honest, it's very uncertain whether a drug will ever see the light of day, if it will ever see it, since there are a lot of side interests who are bent on burying something like this. After all, it's not making them long-term profits. And even if it's developed, it will take years before it's approved, and even decades to be publicly available. Because all this funding comes from the same multi-billion-dollar hearing loss industry, which has been feeding you a river of lies all these years, just to use you as their personal cash cow. Think about it. Why would a corporation whose entire profit depends on people like you and me, people experiencing humiliating hearing loss, why would they want us to heal completely with a simple method that won't bring any money into their pockets? Their goal isn't to eliminate the cause of your hearing loss. They just want to sell you something very expensive that will make you feel better only when you use it. They want you addicted to their products. Take hearing aids. They help you hear better, but without them, you're lost. So you keep shelling out money into better and more comfortable products they produce, while your hearing gets worse and worse until it's all gone. The only way to actually restore your hearing, judging by the 4 different doctors I saw, is a $50,000 cochlear implant. But that's a huge, fat lie. That's not restoring your hearing. That's getting a brand new, extremely expensive hearing that will help make your doctor filthy rich. The better way that I found to remedy your hearing loss has been kept secret for centuries and is found in the heart of the Navajo community. Their remedies are some of the most powerful in the world, but they are kept locked inside their world, far away from us. Now, here's the thing. Even if they weren't kept secret, and we had access to all this extraordinary medical knowledge, in our world full of technology, their formulas would look strange to us. Even I looked at my dad's instructions in disbelief. But while I was researching the ingredients used in my father's formula, I discovered something that made my jaw drop. It turns out, science is just now discovering what the Navajo have always known. There are certain substances that our ears need to keep the hair cells responsible for hearing strong and functioning perfectly. So, remember when I said that once hair cells die, science thought it was impossible to regrow or regenerate them? A recent study made by Harvard scientists and published in the National Communications Journal has finally proven that it's now possible to regrow hair cells and finally get back your hearing. They used a special molecule called MHY-1485 to target the inner ear and basically reprogram hair cells to repair themselves and regenerate. When that happens, it activates a protein inside your body which restores the process, which until now it was believed to be impossible, to regain your hearing. Now, what the Navajo people have experienced for centuries and science has only recently figured out is that certain chemical compounds are able to activate that special protein inside your body and start the hearing repair process. While I looked over the properties in my dad's formula, I finally understood why this worked so well. I found this was all due to a few superfood ingredients. Mucuna pruriens has been proven highly effective in activating this protein and also reducing the risk of brain-related diseases such as memory loss, together with improving focus, relieving stress, and anxiety. L-theanine, another wonder ingredient which has proven effective in activating this protein to help regrow your hair cells, and it also increases cognitive performance and improves your immune system. Then we added Graphonia simplicifoli, skullcap, and hawthorn with just one purpose in mind, to help restore your hair cells and help you regain your hearing. But there's more. All these ingredients, combined in these specific quantities, also have the role of forming a barrier and protecting you against long-term memory loss, and making sure you don't suffer from this dramatic consequence of hearing loss. In fact, once you get back your hearing, you will significantly lower your risk for brain disorders like memory loss, amnesia, and other related debilitating diseases. And once you start following this formula, you'll feel the huge difference between having weak, damaged hair cells in your ears and having strong, resistant ones that pick up every and any sound around you. Reading all this information, it blew my mind. I was extremely excited to take this formula to my doctor and show him it's actually possible to restore your hearing, and that all the money he had me spend on hearing aids and treatments didn't come close to what this method has done for me. But as I started explaining to him what it was all about, he didn't say a word to me. He just took the piece of paper I was holding in my hands, threw it into the garbage, and said that I needed to get out of his office. "Don't show this to anyone, or you'll get in a lot of trouble. You hear me?" he said to me. And then he threw me out, just like that. As I was driving away, I kept thinking, how on earth could I spread the word if the only people who have only one mission, to help me get better, don't even care about it? They care more about their business than your life. So after thinking it through, I decided to cheat the system and share this formula my own way, without their help. I'll admit, it wasn't easy at all. I needed something very easy to follow, and my father told me that in order for this to work, the ingredients had to come from specific places and the recipe needed to be 100% pure. So I asked him to help me find what I was looking for. After weeks of researching, we found the right company to help us with this. We had the formula and knew how it worked, so we needed to make sure the ingredients were sourced, keeping the same high quality. To be honest, this was extremely difficult. There are a lot of folks out there just trying to profit on your goodwill. People trying to make a quick buck who don't care about the quality of ingredients. My father and I searched in every corner of the world until we found the right ingredients. We only wanted to work with certified manufacturers to make sure that we get top quality ingredients. It was an excruciating job, It took us several weeks, but we finally did it. I cried like a child as I was holding the formula that made me a normal human being again. We called it Clarisil PRO, the all-natural Navajo formula that restores your hearing without drugs, expensive surgery, or dangerous exercises. And it does not interfere with your current diet in any way. You can keep eating whatever you like, as much as you like, and you won't need to add any alternative therapy. Remember, it's a Navajo remedy, which means everything is 100% natural and dirt cheap. You probably have two questions at this point. How do I get my hands on this incredible natural formula? And when and in what quantity should I take this supplement? Now, I'll admit, it's hard for me to answer the first question. The truth is, most of the ingredients used to make this formula are really difficult to source, which makes our ability to keep high stocks of Clarisil PRO on hand almost impossible. Everyone that has already tested Clarisil PRO and regained their hearing keeps asking us for more bottles for themselves and for their families and friends, basically making our stock run out in days every time we get a new shipment. And very important, we produce Clarisil PRO in small batches only, which take up to 3 months to deliver. This way we can keep the quality of our product high so it will be 100% efficient. Then there are all the big pharma lawyers who threaten us they'll shut down this website if we don't take this formula down soon. Since you're here right now, your product is reserved. But if you leave this page, we cannot guarantee supply when you come back. Now, before I answer the second question, when and what quantities you should take the supplement, there is something very important you need to know. To make this formula work for you depends on what your goal is and what the severity of your hearing loss is, and how long you had it for. Based on a test we made with our partnering labs on 4,392 men and women, while looking at the severity of hearing loss each person had, I must say the results were shockingly bad. So our safe response to this is, don't risk it. After seeing the results of 68,382 people from all over the world, for everyone that suffers from severe hearing loss, we recommend taking at least 3 bottles of Clarisil PRO, enough for a period of 90 days. And if you want to be completely safe and don't take any chances, then we recommend at least 6 bottles or more. This way you will be absolutely sure you can get your hearing back 100% naturally. People like you and me, we have long forgotten how amazing these remedies can be, but the Navajo people still guard the secrets of nature and use them to stay healthy and strong all throughout their lives. This hearing loss formula that I have tested myself and tens of thousands of other people is so powerful that it can restore hearing in a few weeks. Once you strengthen the hair cells inside your ear, you will not have to deal with this embarrassing problem ever again in your life. And there are 68,382 people, and counting, who've tried it ever since I started spreading the word. I get dozens of messages from them every single day telling me about their incredible results. Elaine B. from Oklahoma says, "Robert, your father's formula is extraordinary. I stopped wearing my hearing aid 2 weeks ago, and it keeps getting better and better. My husband was starting to have problems with his hearing too, and now it's like he's 20 years younger, and he still has 1 more week to go." James from California also wrote to me this morning. 3 months ago, I had a car accident because of my hearing problem. Irony has it that it made my hearing even worse, if possible. I was so scared, I didn't leave the house until last week when I started trying your formula. Now, it's like I'm a new man. I can't thank you enough for it. God bless you. And here's a message from Peter, 72 years old, from Austin, Texas. He says, "Robert, I'm a proud man like you. When I started to go deaf, I was so depressed I wouldn't even talk to my own family. They were all telling me it's normal to lose your hearing when you're 70, but it's damn hard to accept it when it's happening to you. I didn't think there was any chance to get my hearing back, but then I saw your video and I decided to try your formula. It was even better than what you said. In 2 weeks, my hearing was back. I just wanted to thank you for making me feel like myself again." And these are just a few of the tens of thousands of people who got the same results ever since I published the Navajo Secret Formula, and that's why it was so hard to put a price on it. Because for me, it's more about spreading the word than it is about the money. But unfortunately, in these days, even sharing a revolutionary method like this one doesn't come free. Putting together a system, making the website, spreading it on the internet, and even putting aside some money just in case we'll ever have to fight those people who are so desperately trying to get the formula removed off the internet. All these things are expensive. To be honest, at first I had no idea how to proceed. So I asked help from my family and friends who've already tried it to give me their honest opinion about its worth. Mrs. Neville, our neighbor who finally improved her hearing after 20 long years of struggle, told me she'd pay $500 on the spot, and she doesn't even have that kind of money to spend. And my wife's best friend, who started losing her hearing at 35, actually offered to pay us $350, and apologized for not being able to pay us more. Of course, we didn't take the money, and instead, I decided to set the minimum price possible that could cover maintenance and manufacturing costs to make sure no one misses out on this incredible protocol. That's why you're not going to pay $500, not even half of that. I'm happy to say that today you can finally improve your hearing naturally and get Clarisil PRO for just $69 and not a penny more. And I'm going to do something even better. Our manufacturing partner gave us permission to offer a discount on the 6-bottle package of Clarisil PRO. You can get them for only $49 per bottle, and you also get free shipping for as long as the supply lasts. All you have to do is to click on the Buy Now button below right now, and you'll be instantly redirected to a secure order page that guides you through the entire process. And the truth is, the price doesn't even matter, because I'm going to change this entire deal in your favor. Something that the multi-billion-dollar hearing aids industry will never even dare to consider because they know what they sell you is snake oil. So here's what's going to happen. Once you've selected your package below, hit the order button and secure your order. You're going to get a 60-day money-back guarantee on Clarisil PRO. No questions asked, no hassle, no red tape. If you don't experience great results with this formula, if you are not excited and happy that you can finally hear what other people are saying in a conversation and just feel the joy that a normal person does, then just send me an email and I will refund your entire investment without asking any questions and with no hard feeling whatsoever. I need to warn you though, you must act now. Tomorrow or the next day, when the phone rings, I might be forced to take this page down. Sure, I'll be able to fight the fat cats in courts for a while, but that won't be for long. I don't know anyone that can go against a multi-billion-dollar industry and win. So go ahead and secure your package of the Navajo Miracle Formula while it's still here. I guarantee you'll never find anything like this elsewhere. No more hearing aids, no more saving money for surgery, no more trying painful and expensive alternative therapies hoping you'll see some results someday. Just imagine waking up in the morning, hearing the TV in the kitchen, and your spouse making breakfast. Imagine hearing your children's laughter again and enjoying your dinners together, talking and having a good time. This is your chance to get your life back, and it costs you close to nothing. No time wasted, no money wasted. Plus, you're protected by a 60-day money-back guarantee, so there is no risk for you whatsoever. You have the power to improve your hearing in your hands, and it's one click away. Just press the order button below, and in 60 seconds, you can get back what you long for the most. I'm confident that you'll make the best decision for you and your loved ones, and you'll get the Clarisil PRO protocol now, while it's still available. Select the package, try the formula, and for any questions, I am right here for you. I'll be more than happy to hear from you in just a few weeks, when your hearing will be better than it ever was. Click the button now, and in 60 seconds, Clarisil PRO will be yours. Normally at this point, some people like to take a few moments before deciding to invest in this risk-free program. That's why I think it's best to recap a few things that are important. Question 1. How does Clarisil PRO actually work? To quickly explain, this formula contains a natural compound of 29 nutrients and vitamins shown to repair your hair cells and improve your hearing. This formula is inspired by a little-known Navajo recipe that's been used inside their community for centuries and has helped them achieve crystal-clear hearing. My father was raised in a family of Navajo doctors and has decided to break the vow of secrecy to help others and shared with me this unique recipe. Based on his recipe, and in collaboration with an independent research lab, my father and I managed to develop a formula that's 4.7 times stronger than the original Navajo recipe. So if you are looking for a way to restore your hearing, this formula is all you'll ever need. Unfortunately, you won't see this formula published in mainstream media journals or promoted by the big hearing industry companies, because they are only interested in using you as their personal cash cow. If people knew how to restore their hearing using natural remedies, there wouldn't be anything for them to sell you that would make them billions of dollars every year. Question 2. Why haven't I heard of this product before? This is the third time I'm posting this video online. There are some very powerful people working for the multi-billion-dollar hearing aids industry which are trying to prevent hearing loss sufferers from seeing this video. They've been threatening me with expensive lawsuits ever since I released this information to the public. They know that for each person that gets this information, they will lose a customer that they're making money off of. And for every client lost, their profits go down and their board of directors makes less bonus at the end of the year. That's why you need to act fast and get your hands on this formula while this website is still up and running. Tomorrow, when you come back, it might be gone. Question 3. Who is this program for? This incredible formula works for everyone, no matter if you're 20 or 70 years old, and even if you've been suffering from hearing loss for years. It doesn't matter what your current condition is, or if you have your hearing loss because of an accident or simply because of aging. It has no side effects, no implications, and has zero dietary restrictions. All you need is a glass of water and less than a minute of your time every morning. It just works, and you'll soon be able to enjoy its incredible benefits once you hit the order button below. Question 4. How long will Clarisil PRO be available for? To be fair, this is something I don't have an answer for. Today may be your last chance to get your hands on Clarisil PRO. I've been constantly harassed by lawyers threatening me with lawsuits if I don't take this video down. The $8 billion hearing aid industry has already lost tens of thousands of customers because of this formula, and every day that goes by, it gets worse for them. So next time you come back and visit this website, it may not be up anymore. This may be your only opportunity to get this incredible Navajo formula and enjoy the amazing benefits it brings, just like 68,382 people have done before you. Question 5. Will this formula work for me? So far, 68,382 men and women have successfully used Clarisil PRO to improve their hearing in just a few weeks. Now, think of all the tens of thousands of people that have used this Navajo formula ever since it was discovered centuries ago. If the formula didn't work, it wouldn't still be used today. So try Clarisil PRO for yourself and discover how good it feels to be able to hear even the slightest noise around you. Question 6. Great, what's next? All you have to do is click on the order button below, and once you fill the shipping information on the next page, we'll rush Clarisil PRO to your door. And once you've felt the amazing effects this formula has, feel free to send me an email and let me know about your results. Thank you for watching this presentation. Stay safe and God bless. Robert Baylor.